St Pancras International Rail Station, starting point for a unique environmental adventure for 9 British teenagers. They're winners of a government-sponsored competition to encourage youngsters to get involved at a community level in alerting more people about the effects of climate change and what can be done about it at the practical level. They've individually created green websites, designed green newspapers, choreographed climate change fashion shows, written and performed climate change songs, produced climate change art exhibitions and made videos on the subject. They're called the UK Climate Change Champions. They're off on a Dutch expedition to learn and compare, and they take their roles and responsibilities very seriously.
Climate change is something that affects everyone, and no one's going to be left out from it. In fact, it's the single sort of largest global long-term issue that we're going to face.
It's a major issue that we can't ignore it, and I just felt the need to act.
I think that we can make a difference. It's not something that we can just turn away from. We actually have a power to be a force for change. So I just want to get the message out that we can make a difference.
So first stop Amsterdam, a city surrounded by water, often described as the most planned urban centre in Northern Europe. A city home to some 750,000 residents, along with more than 600,000 bicycles, and with a clean public transport system including electric trams and hydrogen-fueled buses. A city surrounded by canals, there are 165 of those, and a city, because of its very location, acutely aware of global warming consequences. Also a great location for the UK youngsters to start a green treasure hunt, an enterprising team bonding exercise. The aim to gain carbon footprint credits by finding examples of green work. This may be an old city, originally developed around a dam, but the percentage of energy coming from renewable sources is 13% in the Netherlands. It is a city that has grown to encourage modern solar and wind power alternatives. It is a city used to seeing large numbers of visitors, and hence the importance of recycling campaigns for tourist and resident alike. Just outside Amsterdam, the mini-city of Madurodam. Again, an opportunity for the climate champions to see for themselves very real, modern energy saving in commercial operations. One of the highlights might be the miniature windmills of yesteryear, but here too are modern wind turbines creating real power to much of the mini-city. Solar panels, big and small, are dotted around this complex. Some 50% of the models being driven by clean energy sources. On a bigger scale, a larger vehicle of sorts awaited the group the next day. A converted trawler to take them out to the middle of the North Sea to see the Q7 offshore wind farm, a collection of giant turbines delivering the first sustainable electricity to the Dutch national grid. But the weather deteriorated, leaving the company's chief executive to explain what was going on behind the fog.
We are installing 60 wind turbines offshore, and right now we are 12 miles outside of the country, outside of the coast, and these 60 turbines generate 430 gigawatt hour, and that's good for 125,000 households on a yearly basis to supply green energy to. This is the farthest and the deepest at this moment ever built worldwide.
A lesson too on the sometimes unforgiving mood of Mother Nature. So on to Snow World, an indoor ski and board park an hour's drive from Amsterdam. Opened in 1996, it boasts 3 descents on real snow. The company uses its own clean snow-making equipment. The water used has been filtered for impurities. The complex boasts 350,000 skiers, some obviously more experienced than others, each year. Snowworld is also proposing to send the heat generated in keeping the centre icy into a proposed hotel complex next door and warm up that building with reused energy. A commercial Dutch company trying to adopt modern green policies in the actual workings of a business. The final day, and a ferry crossing from Amsterdam to a seemingly derelict and abandoned complex of shipbuilding hangars and warehouses and slipways. The cranes are no longer in action, but if a group of dedicated environmentalists, architects, artists and designers have their way, this will be transformed into a modern energy city, complete with wind turbines atop the cranes. This huge area contains a 20,000 square metre hangar structure. It's being turned into an artist's complex with scores of studios and workshops. At the centre, renewable energy, heat pumps drawing water from underground, windmills, even a gas station pumping vegetable oil, and a performance stage made completely from recycled materials. The ambition here is to turn this former shipyard into the largest hotbed for artistic talent in the Netherlands. It has already started, tenants being allowed to design and build their own spaces within. Off to one side, a Gewoonboot, a fully sustainable, environmentally friendly, full-scale houseboat. An initiative of a Dutch Housing Development Association, now being viewed as an ideal example of a building embracing clean fuel and energy-saving efficiency. Water gathering devices on the roof, alongside solar panels, photovoltaic generation of electricity, electrical power using compact diesel generator, wastewater treatment and heat regeneration in the ventilation system. Much to absorb, but these students are deeply committed. They recognise the role they have to play.
Now I think that you've got two groups of people working together on it. You've got our age group and you've also got like a more influential group of the government. And now I think that the two are coming together. I think definitely it's going to become more of a... I think people are going to realise the seriousness of the situation and something will be done about it.
I think that it's not fair for innocent people to suffer and die and animals to suffer and die because of us, and I think that us as the human race need to realise that our actions actually have consequences.
I think everyone can do things, and I think individuals can do their own things, but we can't get anywhere unless everyone comes together and all the individual things people do becomes one.
All these experiences that we've had, it'd be great just to kind of use them to get the message out and show people that climate change is something we can tackle.
The Dutch trip has been a swift learning experience. Now the team will spend the next 12 months communicating their ideas on how their own regions can reduce carbon footprints. DEFRA, their aim is sustainable development. This project is positive action in not only furthering the message, but also getting commitment from a new generation.
It's a success in the sense that it's very good in terms of cost benefit to actually get messages to the public, and it's also very good in terms of being allowed to DEFRA to talk to young people, which is something which traditionally government doesn't do very well. The young people who have been chosen as champions are extremely knowledgeable, extremely dedicated, and when they go into their regions, they are able to really get the message across. It's a complete win-win project. The coverage that we get from the champions doing events, speaking to people, is 99% completely positive. It's a lovely event to actually do. People love taking part in it, and the champions are able to really get their messages across in a very different format than normal messages that government would release.
The Amsterdam trip is just the spark needed for the climate champions to ignite continued and sustained interest across all corners of the UK. After all, the message is fairly simple and uncomplicated.